So over the past few months here on YouTube, I've been seeing a sort of boring credit card get a lot of unexpected attention with a bunch of videos being made about the Fidelity Rewards Visa Signature card. Now, I found that to be interesting because this Fidelity credit card's been around for years, and it's always been a decent option for those who value simplicity, and that's because it's got no annual fee, and it earns a flat 2% cash back on everything, which can then go straight into an eligible Fidelity account to invest and hopefully grow over time to be worth above 2%. However, to me, this card's always just been okay and not something I necessarily recommend over a lot of other credit cards out there. But with all these Fidelity videos popping up, it naturally made me curious and I wanted to see if I was missing something. And it turns out there's definitely a few good reasons that I think this credit card here might have quietly just got really good for a lot of people going into 2026. So in this video, I want to go over all this card offers and why it's actually a pretty underrated option for the average person. But I also want to explain why I'm still not convinced that it's the right card for everyone, including myself. And that's because there's one big issue I have with a credit card like this that basically makes it easy for me to say no to it. Now, before we get to that issue, let's start off here by quickly going over what this Fidelity Visa offers because it does have a few cool benefits that you don't normally find in a $0 card. So first, like I said, there's no annual fee, which immediately is going to give this credit card a much wider appeal to more people. There's also no foreign transaction fees, which is going to be another benefit that's usually found on more premium travel cards. And then again, the one spending multiplier that you're going to get here is an unlimited 2% cash back on everything with no caps or category restrictions. That makes this a good option for those who don't really want to worry about keeping track of which credit card to use for different things. And 2% back on all spending makes this a competitive catch-all card that's going to fall right in line with the competition of other no annual fee cards that also earn 2% back on everything, like the Citi Double Cash, the Wells Fargo Active Cash, and even the Apple Card when Apple Pay is used. Now, if you read the fine print on Fidelity's website, you're actually going to be earning Fidelity Rewards points here, so they tell you that you're going to be earning 2 points per $1 spent on eligible net purchases. Those points can then be redeemed at a 1 cent per point rate into certain Fidelity accounts where you can then choose to invest those funds and effectively have that cash back grow over time. But just make sure you do not redeem those points for other options that Fidelity might give you, like gift cards, for example, because those are going to get you below 1 cent per point, which is devaluing those rewards. Now, Fidelity's website also says that customers with their credit card have the option to redeem their rewards points automatically each month into a Fidelity account, or you can choose to redeem them on demand whenever you want to manually move them over into an eligible account instead. However, they also mention that there's a 2,500 point minimum required to redeem points, which means that you basically need to earn at least $25 worth of rewards before you can actually invest that with Fidelity. But that information does seem to be outdated because Fidelity also recently announced there's no longer going to be that 2,500 point minimum. For people that have been using this card for a while, I know that was a nice change that a lot of customers have been asking for because it's going to allow for more consistent deposits of cash back to invest. So you do have to give credit where credit's due when companies actually listen to feedback and then make positive changes like this. Now, another benefit that's really cool to see here on this card is that you can get up to $100 back in rewards points when you apply for either global entry or TSA PreCheck and then pay the application fee with this card. So with this benefit alone, you're going to be coming out with positive value, but that is going to lead me to the one thing that is lacking here in terms of benefits, and that is going to be a consistent visible sign-up bonus. So this Fidelity Visa doesn't actually mention any sort of standard welcome offer on the main website for this card. However, I did manage to find another link by just searching around on Google that had a bonus worth $150 after spending $1,000 within the first 90 days of account opening. I've also personally received a bunch of mail offers for this card over the years, with many of those advertising a bonus of some kind as well. And then I've also seen plenty of Fidelity customers mentioning online that they were targeted with offers through email too. So I just wanted to mention that it is a small negative that sometimes it looks like there's no sign-up bonus on this card, but there are some special offers out there. So if you're gonna get this Fidelity Visa, then just be patient and make sure you look around for a bonus. Now, I've also seen people talk about some extra value that this card is supposedly able to provide in the form of some travel benefits like auto rental coverage and other travel protections, as well as a luxury hotel collection that the Fidelity Visa gives you access to with benefits like room upgrades, complimentary breakfast, a $25 daily credit, and late checkout. However, even though these benefits do exist, the true value that they're able to provide is going to be questionable and not nearly as good as advertised. So for example, the terms for the car rental coverage say that for domestic rentals, if you already have personal auto insurance or other insurance that covers theft or damage, then this benefit reimburses you for only the deductible portion of your coverage, along with any unreimbursed administrative or loss of use charges from the car rental company. In other words, for renting cars here in the US, the coverage provided with this credit card is going to be secondary if you already have car insurance. So in the event of theft or damage to your rental car, you'd still have to file a claim with your own insurance first, and then this benefit will kick in if there's still certain costs left over for you after that. What you really want here is a credit card that offers primary auto rental coverage, so I'll go ahead and leave a link down below to a few of those cards that offer that down below in the description. And that's because with primary coverage, you're going to be able to file a claim with your credit card against any theft or damage to a rental car without needing to use your personal auto insurance first. Now, there's always a bunch of other details that you want to make sure you go ahead and research and then understand when it comes to insurance in your own personal situation. But yeah, for many people, the Fidelity Visa's secondary auto rental coverage is better than nothing, but it's not some amazing benefit because it's not primary. Then for the luxury hotel program that you're going to get access to with this Fidelity card, this is referring to the Visa Signature Luxury Hotel Collection. And again, you can see all these benefits here that they list when it comes to booking within this program, like upgrades, free breakfast, and credits during your stay. However, what I want to point out here is that this program has a big emphasis on luxury properties, which you can see with brands like Peninsula, Park Hyatt, and Shangri-La that are listed on this page. And when you actually visit the Visa website to search around for places to stay within this program, you're going to see that these benefits probably aren't worth that much relative to what these hotels are going for. So for example, they mentioned that Park Hyatts were in this collection, and I just stayed at the Park Hyatt Zurich the other month. So I went ahead and looked up the price for a random 2-night stay here in November, and it's going for $1,833 through the Visa portal. But if I just look up the same exact hotel room for the same exact dates on Hyatt's website directly, I'd have to pay $1,645 for this 2-night stay, which is nearly $200 cheaper. So would it really be worth paying that much more through Visa to get maybe some very minor benefits? For most people, the answer to that question is likely no. And there's actually plenty of other premium travel credit cards out there that I would say have way better luxury hotel programs with better benefits that can really make your stays worth it in a more meaningful way. Now, not every hotel booked through Visa is going to be more expensive, and you should always be comparing prices and seeing exactly what you're getting before booking in any travel portal. But the takeaway here is that this hotel benefit that's sort of hidden within this Fidelity credit card is most likely mediocre at best because it's sort of just a generic Visa Signature benefit anyway, so I wouldn't get too excited about it. Also, outside of this Visa Signature luxury collection portal, the Fidelity Visa actually does have its own travel portal that's kind of a hidden benefit on this card as well, because Fidelity on its website doesn't advertise this portal whatsoever. With this portal, you're able to earn 6% back on hotels and rental cars that you book here, which is pretty good, again for a no annual fee card. But the same holds true that you always got to compare prices and what you get when booking within this portal to see whether or not it's worth it to book there or book somewhere else. All right, now after talking about all these benefits, that is going to lead me to the #1 feature here that people really get this credit card for, and that is the ability to invest your rewards for your future, where that 2% back that you're earning on everything can effectively grow into a much higher rate over the years. So like I said at the beginning of this video, I do think this card is looking better and better for a lot of people going into 2026 as we compare it to the other credit card options you have nowadays. But there's still a big issue that I have with a card that's focused on investing your rewards. So let's walk through some numbers and then talk about whether or not I think this card's really going to be worth it for you and your situation. Now, everyone's spending levels are going to be different, and the amount of cash back that you can earn here is going to be directly tied to your spend. But let's say that you expect that you'll be spending maybe around $3,000 per month here, or around $36,000 per year. That means that at a rate of 2% back on everything, you would earn around $60 of cash back per month, or around $720 of cash back per year. And since investing is something that you want to be doing over the long term, let's also say that you're going to be looking to invest these rewards every single month over the next 20 years. So that would be $720 of cash back earned after 1 year at a rate of 2% back before any of that is invested. That's $3,600 earned after 5 years at 2%, $7,200 earned after 10 years, and $14,400 earned after 20 years. Now, we're not factoring inflation into any of the annual spending numbers here, just to kind of keep things simple for this example, so spending will naturally go up over the course of 2 decades. But because we're going to be investing our cash back earned every single month into a Fidelity account, let's say that we're going to invest that into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund that returns an average of 8% per year. Now, when we go ahead and calculate the return that we're going to get on our spending, that is going to effectively increase year after year as we factor in both cashback and the interest we're earning at the same time. So that means that after 1 year, we're going to have $720 of cashback plus $27 of interest. Dividing that by the $36,000 of spending that we did over the course of that first year, that is going to give us an effective earning rate of 2.08%, and that's going to be just slightly higher than the advertised 2% rate. However, those 8% annual returns from the S&P 500 are not going to be guaranteed to happen every single year, because some years can be higher and then other years can be lower or even negative. So the best way to get closer to an 8% annual return on average is to be consistent and then invest the same way over a long period of time. So then that means after 5 years, again, we've earned a total of $3,600 of pure cash back during that time. But by investing, we've also earned around $808.61 of interest as well. So combined, that adds up to give us us a 2.45% effective earning rate. Then after 10 years, we've earned $7,200 of cash back and then $3,776.76 of interest for 3.05% of effective earning. And after 20 years, we'd have $14,400 of cash back and a crazy $20,941.22 of interest for a super high 4.91% earning rate just by using this Fidelity credit card and then investing our cash back. Now, that was a lot of numbers, and it all sounds really good in theory because once you get past years 10 to 20 is when you really start to see the power of compounding grow your 2% back on everything into 3 to 5%. But 10 to 20 years of investing your credit card rewards consistently in the exact same way month after month, that's going to be a long time to really see that growth to the point where this card becomes truly worth it over other no annual fee cards earning 3 to 5% back today. So that is going to bring me to the issue that I have with a credit card like this, which is that in my opinion, credit card rewards and investing have misaligned goals and timelines. To me, credit card rewards, whether that's cash back or points miles for travel, they're really best used to save money in the short term, whereas investing is meant to build wealth over the long term. This is something that I feel really strongly about, but I like to keep my credit card strategy and my investing strategy completely separate, and it's why I don't use something like this Fidelity Visa card in my wallet, and there's really 3 main reasons why I feel this way. Number 1, I feel this way because investing is something that inherently has to be done consistently over the course of many decades to see any real results from compounding growth, so that means that you need a credit card that's going to offer the same features and benefits for 20 plus years if part of your plan for investing is to invest your rewards. But in today's world, most credit card issuers and their partners are changing their card's features, nerfing benefits, and even devaluing rewards roughly every 3 to 5 years or even less. So to bet on a certain credit card like this one here from Fidelity, staying the same for 20 plus years is not a bet that I'd be willing to make. Number 2, the cashback earned here from this Fidelity card is really no different than the cashback earned from any other credit card out there. So because there's plenty of other cards earning 2% back on everything, or even 3 to 5% back on key spending categories like gas, groceries, dining, and more, I prefer to earn the most cashback possible on cards like that if that was my goal, and then just set up automatic investments into Fidelity or any other brokerage separately. That would allow me to accomplish my goal of investing automatically, simply, and consistently over decades, and at the same time, I'd be able to actually earn more cash back by just optimizing my spending categories with maybe a little bit of extra effort across only a few cards. Plus, I'll likely be able to earn a few valuable sign-up bonuses along the way as well. And reason number 3 why I feel that credit cards and investing are best kept separate is because I personally believe that the best opportunity to save the most money possible with credit cards is going to be with travel. I talk about my own credit card strategy all the time here on this channel, but I believe in having a heavy focus on earning points and miles on credit cards that earn transferable currencies that can then be moved to different airline and hotel programs to book flights and hotel stays. Why? Because my whole purpose here behind using credit cards in the first place was to build credit while also saving money on travel in my early 20s. So when I was working my first job out of school, I really wanted to travel, but I also wanted to save and invest as much money as possible while I was young. That way I could just keep investing that money and have the most time for that to grow and compound over time like we talked about earlier. The only problem with all that stuff was that my budget was incredibly limited, and so by earning credit card points and then learning how to leverage those points to redeem and save money on travel that I wanted to do, I was able to basically travel for cheap while I was young and invest as much as possible in my early 20s, both of which I'm very grateful for as I approach turning 30 very soon. I'd actually make the argument here that if you're earning transferable credit card points and then you learn how to redeem those points very strategically to save money on travel, if that's something you wanted to spend money on anyway, then those travel savings can then be invested and grown over decades to greatly exceed any 2% cashback earned and invested with just this Fidelity Visa. And that's why I don't have this card. It's not that it's a bad credit card, because I do think it's a solid option for a lot of people, but it's really because I value spending money on travel with or without credit cards. So if I'm able to leverage my points miles to save money on that travel and then invest those savings like I've been doing for a while now, that is going to be paying me more in dividends in the form of earnings way in the future, while the travel that I get to do as well right now, thanks to my credit cards, is going to be paying me dividends as well in the form of memories that I have every single day. So with all that said, is this Fidelity credit card worth it for you then? Well, I'd say that if you share my thoughts and feelings on keeping credit card rewards and investing separate, then it's probably not right for you. And that goes both for people who prefer to earn cash back or points and miles for travel. But if you value simplicity and just having one really good no annual fee credit card, and you just want to have a way to invest that cash back with a really solid company like Fidelity, or if you're just tired of paying annual fees and dealing with all these updates and changes to the more popular credit cards out there from the major issuers, then I do think this Fidelity credit card can be very much worth it. It's got some nice additional features like no foreign transactions transaction fees, and a global entry or TSA pre-check credit, on top of all the main benefits that Fidelity didn't have to include here, but they did, which is cool. And I've talked about this before, but a lot of people are really just fed up with all the BS of devaluations and increasing annual fees on a lot of travel credit cards out there in today's world. So opting out of that entirely is something that I think we're gonna see more and more people do as we head into 2026. And I just wanna say that I think that's a perfectly fine thing to do, and this card is gonna be a really good option for opting out of that premium card space. With credit cards, you wanna find what works best for you, and I do think this Fidelity credit card is gonna be a great choice for a lot of people out there who might not really care as much about playing the whole travel credit card game, or even maybe traveling period. But let me know what you guys think about this card in the comments section down below. Are you someone who's been using this Fidelity card, or could you ever see yourself switching over to it? And if you wanna learn more about why exactly I think the credit card game has changed forever after all these recent updates, then make sure to go ahead and check out this video over here on the screen next. But as always, thanks so much for watching.